Dear professors, dear colleagues, let me introduce you my PhD topic, which is 3D printing in dentistry. I am Németh from Department of Prosthodontics, and my vision is a high-quality digital prosthodontic treatment using 3D printing technology as a daily routine, and to reach that, I would like to bring 3D printing into the clinical practice. So my specific goal is to investigate 3D printing technology through dental models and fixed dental restorations. And my first project is a clear guidance to select the most accurate technologies for 3D printing dental models. The biggest breakthrough in dentistry was the advent of CAD/CAM technology because it provides time-saving manufacturing and precise restorations, and it comprises additive manufacturing as known as 3D printing. During this process, the three-dimensional object is built up layer by layer from a virtual model. The importance of this topic is shown by the increase in the number of publications. So there are several types of 3D printers with different technologies, but the problem is that the results about the accuracy of these technologies in the literature are different as well. And there are numerous cases where the accuracy of a dental device is crucial. For example, if the implant location in a 3D printed model is not accurate, then the prosthesis made on it will be not precisely fitting and it will be unusable. So we need more evidence about the accuracy of this technology, and in this study we would like to evaluate the accuracy of 3D printed dental models. So our question is, do dental models manufactured with different 3D printing technologies provide the same accuracy in comparison to the initial digital model? And our hypothesis is that the accuracy is within the clinically accepted thresholds regardless printer type. We defined two limits for the accuracy, 120 micrometers for prosthodontic and 250 micrometers for orthodontic purposes. So after my selection, I had 11 eligible articles, and based on the heterogeneity of the included studies, a subgroup analysis was needed, and we made that according to those factors which have the greatest effect on the printing accuracy. These are the layer thickness, the model design, the measuring level, and the calculation method. So based on this, we ended up with 6 subgroups. Now let me show you some of my subgroup results. Based on the extracted data, we were able to make a network meta-analysis where we can compare the interventions to the control and the different treatments to each other as well, so we can combine both direct and indirect evidence across a network of studies. This subgroup shows the trueness at arch level using layer thickness 0 to 50 micrometers, and the network diagram shows the structure of the network of each subgroup, the nodes representing the different interventions, and the lines showing the direct comparisons between the pairs of interventions. The forest plot shows the mean difference of the interventions expressed in micrometers. And in this subgroup, we can see that all the investigated technologies were within the orthodontic clinical limit, but from the prosthodontic perspective, only PolyJet, DLP, and SLR were clinically acceptable. The deviations are statistically significant, but they were not clinically relevant. Here, in another subgroup, the measuring level is tooth level. In this case, our results suggest that tooth-level measurements lead to lower trueness values than arch-level measurements, and the result is that because during the smaller section accuracy analysis, a section-based alignment method significantly improves the alignment accuracy and decreases the measurement error, so the distortion is much moderate. So the strength of this study that this is the first meta-analysis in this topic, and with combining both direct and indirect evidence, the proof of the practical applicability is much higher. So we can say as a conclusion that SLR, DLP, and PolyJet technologies are clinically acceptable for full arch dental model production, and we can use them for prosthodontic purposes. And from the research perspective, standardized accuracy assessment protocol is needed to facilitate comparison. and future studies should also involve a standardized reporting protocol about the detailed printing parameters. So this paper was accepted in this April to the Journal of Dentistry. My second project is a comparative study of additive and subtractive manufacturing of fixed dental restorations. So CAD/CAM is divided into subtractive and additive manufacturing, and we use milling for over 30 years now, but 3D printing is a much younger technology. But we accept the same precise result from both of the technologies. However, there are many differences between milling and 3D printing. The main difference is the material wastage, because during milling, we remove the material from the workpiece and the remaining material cannot be reused. But in contrast, during 3D printing, the wastage is much less. And with 3D printing, complex parts with intricate shapes and hollow cavities can easily be produced, but milling has limited capabilities because of the size of the milling burr and the angles of the milling machines. So there are a lot of benefits of 3D printing, but we need more evidence about the dimensional accuracy. So in this case, we would like to evaluate the accuracy of fixed dental restorations made by 3D printing. So we would like to compare 3D printed fixed restorations to the milled fixed restorations, and the outcomes are the marginal and internal fit. And our hypothesis is that 3D printed restorations are significantly more accurate than the milled ones. And with the results of these studies, maybe can establish 3D printing as a more accurate, cost-effective and time-efficient manufacturing method of the digital workflow. So after the selection, I have 38 eligible articles, and I finished data extraction, risk of bias, and I hopefully will have the results soon. My third project is an in vitro study called Influence of Printing Materials on the Accuracy of 3D Printed Dental Models. So as we know from the literature that there are a lot of influencing factors which have a great effect on the printing accuracy, such as manufacturing technology, post-processing procedures, storage conditions, and of course the material used. And we can divide the 3D printing systems into open and closed systems. Closed systems can only use their own brand materials, but open systems are compatible with a wide range of materials from different distributors, and there are many materials to choose from for the same purpose. And the aim of this study is that we would like to evaluate the influence of different printing materials on printing accuracy. So does the material used affect the printing accuracy of dental models? And our hypothesis is that the accuracy is significantly differs according to the type of materials. So we have a reference maxillary digital file with prepared teeth with coronal and gingival marker points for the easier measurements. And we would like to print that reference file with an open system DLP printer with 4 different materials launched by different companies, which are compatible with our open system printer. And the printing process is followed by a reference scanning process in order to digitalize the 3D printed models as well. And to compare the 3D printed models to the original reference file, and reverse engineering software can be used, where we can measure the whole deviation of the models and make linear measurements in the vertical and horizontal dimension with the help of the specified marker points. And the outcome is the accuracy, which consists of trueness and precision. So this study is in its initial phase, where we would like to have a consultation with some experts of the field. So these are my 1 finished and 2 ongoing projects, and alongside my PhD program, I participate in the education of dentistry students, and I'm also a member of the Digital Dental Working Group in the clinic, where we investigate intraoral scanner and 3D printing systems. Now let me finish my presentation with this quote: "Just remember, you can climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets." Thank you.
You told in the case of the first study that you had three types of outcomes: accuracy, precision, and trueness. What is the difference between them?
Thank you for your question. Actually, accuracy is built up from trueness and precision, and the trueness refers to the closeness of the true value, and the precision refers to the repeatability. So these two value gives together the accuracy, but a lot of articles only mention accuracy, but actually they think to the trueness. So it's sometimes it can be confusing.
And in case of the subgroups, you had different differences. And what is the difference in the meanings of the results?
Thank you. There are a lot of printing parameters which we have to take into consideration because they result significantly different results. One of them is the model design. It's important if the model is only a horseshoe shape or it has a connection part at the molar part. So we need to separate them because it's not comparable, because there are the connected parted models are significantly more accurate than the horseshoe shape. Or the layer thickness is another factor, because it matters if we print something with 25 micrometer layers or with 100 micrometers, because the surface quality is different. So we had a line at 50 micrometers because a lot of investigators using 0 to 50, most times 50 micrometers, and the other group was the over 50 micrometers, but this is the other group. So these were these factors.
At the end, which method was the best?
At the end, the best method is that if we print with 0 to 50 micrometer with a connected part of the model, and the three SLA, DLP, and PolyJet technologies were the best.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Only comments, because the things are relatively clear. The only problem with this kind of new technology is that you need to write fast, because the things are changing very, very fast. Every month, if you have a printer, you need to put an update that change a lot the speed and the quality of your products. In the same time, what you buy today, in few months, will not be available on the market, will be replaced by something newer, better, that make the technology safer, more precise, and in the same time cheaper. And this is amazing, and this is the only difficulty in our work.
Yes, that's true. Thank you.
Following up on this comment, were you able to see in your data that there was a trend that indicating that the newer models are definitely better? Could you see such age trends or time trends?
Sorry, Alex, can you repeat what kind of models?
Yeah, not the 3D printing technologies, right? Could you see that there was a trend that the newer techniques, newer machines doing so are then significantly better than the older ones?
When I made the search, thank you. When I made the search and we analyzed the results, that the so-called LCD technology printers was quite new, but they were significantly worse than the other which we use now longer time. But nowadays, at this point, there are a lot of LCD technology printers, which is also open systems, so they are really good for the dentists and the technicians, and the accuracy is getting closer to the other ones. So, yes, it was that.
Thank you.
Could you remind me, this 120 micrometers was the borderline of precisity or trueness? Because trueness, 120 micrometers, it seems to be a bit wide.
Right. Thank you for your question. It refers to trueness, and it's really interesting because all the authors now, what studies I read, refer to that 120 micron limit, which is from a clinical study from 1971, where was a 5-year follow-up study about fixed restorations. And everybody refers this limit, so we decided that this is our limit too. Yes, it's really interesting. We should do another.
The micrometers gap between the ceiling line and the prepared tools. I won't accept it anyway. But okay, that's the literature.
Yeah. Our second project will be interesting from this aspect because we will evaluate the gaps. So we will see if it's better than 120 or
and how is the cost-benefit ratio between the up to 50 micrometers thickness, layer thickness, and over 50? So are they cheaper?
The printing time is much lower because we don't need as many layers, and the surface quality is not that good. So we have to decide that what purpose we want to use these models. If we just want to show the patient, diagnose, consultant with surgeries maybe, then it's enough 100 or 200 microns. But in the other case, the 50 micron is more accurate, and for prosthodontic uses, when we articulate maybe the casts and we would like to adjust the contact points or anything, then it's important that it should be at least with 50 microns printed.
And overall, you're a digital dentist, aren't you?
I wouldn't say that yet.
Yes, you are, I know. In your opinion, do we really need those printed models?
Good question.
That's good answer. Thank you.
Enough?
I think so. What do you think? You mentioned show something to the patient. Yes, that's good, but we have very nice screens to show them 3D models.
It's difficult because I would say yes, we need, because there are some cases where we cannot make a full digital treatment for a patient. Maybe if we make a porcelain fused to metal restorations, then we need the cast and the articulator. And if we don't use CBCT or these other tools for diagnose the exact virtual bite and the articulation, without them, we need the casts and the articulators, I think. But if we can use the digital face bow and everything like that, and we would make a full ceramic restorations, then we don't need them. So I think it depends on the case and the treatment.
I think nowadays digital dentistry is not an art. It's manufacturing something, and then we don't need the models. So once upon a time in the future might be when the digital dentistry is going to be so precise, might be artistic then perhaps. But nowadays that's just keep going, keep drilling, keep preparing, keep making bridges and crowns. So that's my opinion. Not now, today, but let's see what's going to happen in the future. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I have only a small remark, a very small remark. You said the layer thickness during the printing was from 0 to 50 micron. It is not acceptable for me because if the layer thickness is 0, there will be no model. So less than 50 microns would be better.
Thank you. It's a really good comment, and I'm glad that the reviewers didn't realize that.